Who would have thought? Who would have thought that every mock draft was right?
I know.
That might have been the first time where every mock draft got it right with the Raiders. That might have been the first time. I have never seen that before. I thought it was all smoke, but
Man.
It is what it is, man. Still some good.
It is what it is.
Facts,
Exactly. Hey, that's the motto I live by these days with the Raiders. It's what it is, man.
Hey, but it's a lot of good players left in a second. We'll get into that in just a second, bro. We'll get into that. But yeah, don't forget to clock in. Hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Here we go.
Great Pharaoh. The gift of Troy is a fabulous fabric from the land of the 5 rivers.
Years ago, when we came to Los Angeles, I really believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
LA didn't wanna give us a home, but LV got us on the map. That be a fact, I bet it all on brown, silver, and black. Hard cars, and Mad Max. Got me aiming up and down since the 90s. You want the black hole, homie, don't try me. Raiders roll through, some say that we grind me. But we be the revenue every time we grind in third and some in Wallace. Brentford caught it and now he's spinning. Mario on third, he's sprinting. R.I.P. Madden, Al Davis, and all of the Raiders fans that we lost since the beginning. Give me that R. It be that A. It be that I. Our defense bang. It be that E. It be that R. It be that S on our chest that got us far. We be them Raiders. We be them Raiders. We be them Raiders. Just win. Be the haters.
We back. We are back for another edition of Around the Shield, and we got a special guest. We got Chris from the Protect the Shield podcast. Obviously, this is a special edition, draft edition reaction show, man. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We appreciate everybody coming through. And the first round of the NFL 2020-25 NFL draft is in the books. It's official. And the Raiders went ahead and got their franchise back. They went ahead and got Ashton Jeanty. I didn't believe it. I really didn't believe that was going to be the move. But Raiders did a good job. Kind of, they kind of were unpredictable, but at the same time they were predictable because all these mock drafts were pretty much right. They called it, and we'll get into that in just a second, man. Let's salute to the Tonight crew, the chat, man. Everybody pulling up. If you haven't already, make sure to, if you haven't subscribed, man, we're going live on all 3 channels. We got Chris from Protect the Shield podcast. Make sure to subscribe to my guy. Like the video. We got The Severe Raider. Also, go ahead and subscribe to my guy and like the video. And then obviously myself, PharoahNFL. Like the video, clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Last Stone 84 says first, man. Hey, man. Hey, we got to salute you for being first, man. Appreciate you coming through. Tori, I guess, damn, everybody gonna be big mad. I'm not mad, but it's just, I would have thought that the Raiders would have got a running back a little bit later, but you know what? We'll get into that. We'll get into our thoughts, and I know Severe got a lot to say. I know Chris got a lot to say. We gonna get into that. Daniel Kim in the building, man. He's hyped, man. He says yes, Raiders.
Yeah.
Hey, man, people, they hype right now. They man, Severe, bro. My guy Moon over Miami, man, appreciate you coming through. Ernest in the building, man. My guy, man, all eyes on G in the building. Team Jeanty. So we got Egalitarian 207 in the building. We got everybody pulling up today. We got everybody pulling up today. Brent Blood in the building, man. Appreciate you coming through. And we got everybody pulling up, man. Yeah, man. Hey. And by the way, too, I like that you brought this up, Chill Ray. Will Johnson burning in round 2, and a few other players, man. There's some players on the board that the Raiders can possibly take. So, hey, the draft is not over, but let's just get into it, man. It's not wasting any time. Severe, Chris, man, let's get this. Like, what were your thoughts on Jeanty being the first pick, the sixth pick in the draft for the Raiders? Chris, go ahead and start off.
Yeah, man. So for me, I can't say I'm surprised. I really can't. Just kind of knowing Pete Carroll, he likes to run the ball, and he likes running backs that can, be that bell cow. And Jeanty does fit that. So, just as a prospect, I think he's a great player, and I'm excited to add him to the team. It's just, from a value standpoint, I think that we probably could have got like someone like Henderson in round 2, but we'll see how the beginning of second round looks to see if he's even there by the time we pick. But so I can't say I'm surprised. I mean, the guy's a good talent. But I would have liked to see us even like trade back, because to me, I think the Cleveland Browns have won round 1 just the way they kind of maneuvered, did the trade, still got a premier player like a Mason Graham. I wish we could have did something similar, but it is what it is. We're the Raiders, and I'm rocking with it.
Severe, man, what's your take on it?
Yeah, man. As all of you guys know, I am a father, and being a father, you get used to the line of, no, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. It's like I said, man, it was just wasted value, man. It's just not a good value picking. Like I said, Jeanty better be. He better, if he does not outproduce all these other backs, it's not going to be a good look. And there's a very good chance that he gets outperformed by these other backs, and not necessarily, you're going to even say not necessarily because they're better players than he is, but because they'll be in better situations. Perfect example is Amarian Hampton going to the Chargers. So I let you know, you build the infrastructure first, and then you get the running back. We see what just happened with Saquon. Wasted years of his career with the Giants, where people started to question how good is Saquon really. He goes to the Eagles and he's Offensive Player of the Year, MVP candidate. Same thing with Josh. He had a good rookie year, kind of struggled a little bit that second year, struggled a little bit that third year, blew the hell up that fourth year, and then that fifth year was, and then he leaves us, goes to a team that has a better infrastructure, boom, top 5 in rushing again. So once you have the infrastructure in place, that's when you get the other pieces. But you want to get 22-inch rims on a car that ain't got no carburetor. Like, it don't make no sense. You know? But there's some nice ass rims. I got a good deal on these rims though. This is dubs. Like, I don't care. Like, you can't drive. You ain't got no rim. You ain't got no carburetor. How you gonna drive? Like, bro, it just don't make no sense, man. It just doesn't make sense.
Well, let me say this, because I'm not gonna lie. I was surprised because I thought the Raiders were gonna go in the I thought it was gonna be a trenches pick, offensive line. I thought they were gonna get offensive tackle, but they did a good job. That was a smoke screen. I'm sure they had like people on there in the Raiders building putting out all that smoke as far as the Raiders being interested in Banks, which they might have been, because there was some people saying that the Jaguars were probably gonna take Jeanty. So obviously the Raiders had to like pivot and be like, you know what, let's go get someone in the offensive line. But I'll say this: this is the second year in a row where the Raiders technically have gotten the best player on the board. Second year in a row, and I think at the end of the day, like you can make an argument, the Raiders are right now, they're in a place where they need to add talent. Now, would I've wanted to take a running back later because it's a good running back class? For sure. I definitely would agree with that just because of the value aspect. But the Raiders felt like he was the best player on the board. They didn't want to take a risk into drafting a Membu. Obviously, Severe, you have your reservations on him. He might have a little bit more work to do, even though he has potential. They could have went for a lesser player, but, this is Spytek's first pick as a GM. He doesn't want to mess it up, so he wants to make sure he gets a good player. And if you look at the track, I seen something somewhere. Raiders track history and running backs in the first is pretty good. They don't miss. Josh Jacobs wasn't a miss. Marcus Allen wasn't a miss. Derek McFadden, I don't care what you say, wasn't a miss. Injuries was probably the biggest, reason why he probably didn't reach his potential. But we seen what he could have been a couple of years when he was healthy. Who else did they take? Napoleon Kaufman in the first. So most likely Jeanty's going to be a hit. He's going to be a hit. And I think they probably went the safe route and went best player available, which last year you can argue they went for a guy that we already had a tight end. We picked a tight end a year before in the second, and they went BPA. So, I think it's just a matter of just adding talent to the team, but I was surprised. I'm not going to act like I'm surprised. Me and Severe, we've been on record to say, like, hey, we need to wait. It's all about value. Let's build this thing right. But, hey, the Raiders, they got their guy, man. Pete Carroll he has his version of beast mode. And I'm excited to see it too. Low key, I'm not gonna act like I'm not gonna be excited to see what Chip Kelly could do with an Ashton Jeanty. What type of offense? I mean, I like it. I'm you know, it's just one of those things where you got to accept it. At the end of the day, they got their guy. Would I've wanted them to go a different direction? For sure. I mean, let me ask you this: who would you want at that pick? What player would you have wanted at pick number 6 in that moment of the draft, Chris?
I ain't gonna lie. I wanted to trade back. I wanted to trade back because if Mason Graham would have fell to us, I think I would have got him. But I probably would have tried to trade back and get, maybe around 10 or so, 10 to 12. That's kind of where I was at.
Okay. Yeah, and that could be true too, because Mason Graham literally went a pick right before we got Jeanty. So, it could have been possible that Mason Graham would have been a pick. I mean, Severe, who would you wanted at pick number 6?
Man, I've been saying the whole time it's 2 guys I was targeting, and it was Will Johnson and Tetaroa. Obviously, Will Johnson is still on the board, so we get lucky right there. People told me Tetaroa was going to fall into the 20s. That didn't happen. So, and a guy that comes from the Pete Carroll system, and they just drafted a wide receiver in the first round last year. They drafted another wide receiver in the first round this year too, because pass catchers are more valuable than running backs in the NFL. I mean, look at the contracts, and that tells you all you need to know about that right there. So, but we didn't do that. We elected not to do that. So hopefully we fix that mistake in the second round. Like I said, there's gonna be backs in the second and third round that are going to put up production that is very close to what Ashton Jeanty puts up, may possibly even exceeds his production. So that's why you don't pick, like you talk about the picks we've made in the past with these previous teams. And for most of that time, we've been pretty bad, right? Most of those times. So that tells you all you need to know. The one time we picked a running back early and had the ultimate success, that was Marcus Allen in the 80s. So we've been picking. Well, we've had a high success rate picking running backs in the first round, but we've also been bad most of this entire time. So maybe we should deviate from that strategy. I don't know, man. It's just a thought.
Well, all right. Look. You mentioned that one of your guys that you would have taken at pick number 6 is Will Johnson. He's still on the board. So if Will Johnson, let's say, drops to where the Raiders are picking in the second round, I mean, you get isn't that a home run draft? You get Will Johnson, a guy that you would have took in the first round. And then you were already, Severe, I know we've talked about this multiple times. Chris, I'm sure you had this conversation. You probably were going to consider taking a running back in the second. And guess who that running back is at this point? It's just flip-flop, at this point. I mean, you got Jeanty ends up going at number 6, but, I mean, if you would have took Will Johnson at number 6 and then you got Jeanty, it's like...
If we get Will in round 2, then that's a home run.
If I would have told you that, let's say, for example, if Will Johnson would have been the pick at 6, and for whatever reason, it obviously would never happen, but Jeanty dropped all the way to the second, the Raiders picked him in second, I think everybody would have been like, what an unbelievable draft. The Raiders got to steal, yada, yada, yada. But obviously, I'm just saying, if that happens, I'm not mad at it, bro. I'm not mad at it. Like there's a side to it.
Don't work like that. Because perfect example, we could, if I'd have told you we picked Trevon Merrick at 17 or whatever we picked Trevon Merrick, and we got Alex Leatherwood in the second round, what would y'all thought of that draft? Oh man, the Raiders this is a pretty good draft. That's not how the draft works. That's not how the draft works, right? So that's one of the guys I would have picked. I was saying Tetaroa forever until we got rid of Jack Jones, and then that's when I kind of shifted to Will Johnson just because we had a need at cornerback. But if we get Will Johnson in the second round, bro, I'll be excited. I'll be ecstatic.
Yeah,
that's
where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
But
because he would be a perfect fit. He would be a perfect fit to what they want to do on defense.
Man. Perfect. He's
I was all for Will Johnson.
He's elite in zone. He's great in man too.
Yeah.
But you let him get his eyes on the quarterback.
Man.
Well, let's take a look at who the best players available. Let's take a look at it real quick and see who we want to pick at pick number. Get this. This is crazy. Stop seeing this ad. All right. We got Mike Green, a guy that's a lot of mocks had him going in the first round edge. You got the safety out of South Carolina. Another edge here, Darius D tackle. I think he's like a 3 technique. Travion Henderson, I'm sure, is off the board for the Raiders at this point because they went running back in the first. Siobhan Revel available. Obviously, the number one guy on the board is Will Johnson, but hey, there's some players available right now. Shedeur Sanders, that's a guy that a lot of people wanted to get taken in the first round.
Yeah,
there are some Raider fans that were like upset that Shedeur wasn't a pick at number 6, but he ended up dropping out all the way out of the first round. So I don't know what's going on, why that happened. But if you think about it, it literally almost one quarterback was taken if it wasn't for the Giants trading up into the first to get Jackson Dart. But are there any other players that you would take, Chris, outside of Will Johnson? Let's say Will gets taken. Is there another guy, a few guys that you're looking at right now?
Yeah, I mean, I do like Revel Jr. I do like I like Jaden Higgins. He would be someone that Burton. Honestly, I like the thought of having him. So I mean, there's still some impact players that we can get, but we also gotta at some point we gotta address the trenches as well. So, but yeah, if we can get one of those guys, I'll be happy.
Man, I was hoping that Josh Simmons was going to fall into the second and the Raiders could possibly get him.
Man,
that would have been a great pickup in the second. But the Chiefs. Yeah, the Chiefs had to just go ahead and snag him, but it is what it is. But Severe, man, is there anybody that you're seeing here? I can scroll down to that you would want to take in the second. You got the linebacker Carson Schlesinger. Obviously, we talked about Will Johnson. If Will Johnson's not going to be there, is there anybody else that you're looking at? You mentioned Trey Harris. He's there too as well.
I ain't really messing with Trey Harris. Okay. Will Johnson, Siobhan Revel, Luther Burden is a guy as well. If we would have taken somebody else in the first round, Travion Henderson, it's like sure looks like a hell of a pick in the second round. You get the second or third best back in this class in the second round. Oh, that would be a hell of a pick right there. But yeah, I mean those are the main guys I'm looking at right now.
Your guy Ty Lee got taken in the first.
Yeah, the Detroit.
It was a monster.
Detroit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's look at let's look at some of the picks here and talk about like your favorite picks in the draft. Like who killed it in the first round?
Man. Cleveland.
And you're probably talking about the trade down. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean you can't beat it, man. They picked up a second this year. They picked up a second and a fourth, didn't they? Or just second? I think they swapping fourths. But they picked up a second. They picked up a first next year. They got Mason Graham to be able to, because they've been trying to get defensive tackles the last 3 drafts. So for them to pick up him, get him next to Myles Garrett, that's going to be something ridiculous. And then they set themselves up for the future. They can, if they wanted to get Shedeur, they can get him. Honestly, they could trade out of that spot if they wanted to, because you got the 3rd pick. If I would consider trading out if somebody really wanted Shedeur like that, whether it's my rival, the Steelers or whoever. All right, let's make a deal. And then I mean they're just set up pretty nicely, man. And then next year they got 2 first-round picks, so they can package something up. I mean the Browns probably won't be that good anyway, so they'll still have some early picks. But shoot, now they can look at the very best quarterback in next year's draft. So. They handled the board nicely today,
and that was they traded spots with the Jaguars. So the Jaguars, if they go out and have a terrible season,
right? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out. But Severe, man, what was your favorite pick in the draft?
I mean, the team that won clearly the team that didn't pick a running back early. No, is everybody that didn't pick a running back early. All the motherfuckers. The Falcons are easy winners, man. They got Jalen Walker and they got James Pierce Jr., who in some people's mind is the second best pass rusher in his class, and he just failed because of other issues. So he went way later. He went way later than he went about where people thought he would be, but in terms of talent wise, he's one of the best pass rushers in this class. Like I said, just on pure talent, a lot of people had him right behind Abdul Carter. So for the Falcons to get both those guys, they're set up pretty smoothly.
Yeah, they definitely upgraded their front seven. The Browns definitely is an easy one. I think the Browns did what I think a lot of like what we wanted the Raiders to do is trade down. Just because we have a lot of different needs, we probably still can get a good player if we can stay like the team that I was looking at. I was thinking maybe that the Bears, because we heard a lot of rumors about the Bears being interested in Jeanty. I'm like, okay, Raiders drop from 6 to 9, maybe pick up an extra second, another mid-round pick. I would have been all for it because then we would still got a good player still in the top 10. But you know what? It is what it is. Raiders stayed pat, took in their minds the best player available, because you can make an argument that Jeanty, even though he plays that running back position, he's still, you can argue he's probably the top 3, top 4 player in the draft. And they were able to get him. It's just that, obviously they took a running back high, but hey, you know what? I'll say this: the offense got better. The offense definitely got better. You got Brock Bowers now. You got Jeanty. What's a receiver that you would take? I know you, Chris. You mentioned Jaden Higgins in a second. What are receivers that you're looking at? Because I know Severe. You're a big T-Mac guy. He went number 8 to the Panthers. Who are guys that you're looking at like in day 2, which would be the second and third rounds?
Yeah, Burton for sure.
Burton,
Burton Higgins. Your boy. I don't know. Well, not day 2, but day 3. Your boy Torrey Horton is a guy.
Yeah, I like Horton.
I know Deontay Thornton is a guy, probably fourth, fifth round. Savion maybe in the 4th, but he's not like a wide receiver. He's more of like a weapon. But if you get him, you're able to get him late. He's a guy that can do some work. So it's a couple guys on the board. I don't know. It's just this running back situation. It just throws everything off to me. But if we're able to recover in a second, like I said, we can do, because if you don't take a running back in the first, because the running back is so deep, you feel you can get guys like 3rd, 4th round that are still productive starters. But the fact that you don't go there,
even Junkins, even like no one even been mentioning Junkins. He may not go to deep in the second,
exactly, or the 3rd. So
or in the 3rd,
So it's like it's one of those situations where now you're like, it's a lot of holes to fill at positions that are not as deep. So you're taking guys that are potentially reaches instead of like sliding that value up more smoothly. And so people are, Jeanty, he was better than all these guys, but it's not. You don't look at just that top pick. You look at where you can get other guys in the draft and their relative value compared to the pick that you made. So if I get the number 1 running back, in the class full of, I get a running back that's rated at 89, and let's say the guy I get in the 3rd is like a 82 or a 81, but the tackle I can get in the 3rd is like a 74 or a 73. Well, then you're not matching up that value properly. Because you want to build a good draft class. You want to build a deep team. It's great to have that blue chip player too. Like you want to do that too. But when there's other guys that can be damn near as impactful as that guy later on, then you have to slot that value up right. That's why like we talk about all these tackles when in the first, like we didn't think Josh Connolly was going to go in the 1st round, right?
Yeah,
but smart team, but people know this tackle is not a lot of tackles in this class. It's not a deep tackle class. So hey, you want an offensive tackle, you better get that guy early. You want you want these guys, you want these premier positions, you got to take them early. You can wait on a running back. Like the Chargers were able to do it because they feel they're in a pretty good spot. And so that's why they were doing, and they did it late.
Yeah. AFC West update, man. I thought the AFC West they nailed their picks. I like Jeanty Barron. Add to that secondary that's already good. That defense, if you've been paying attention to Denver Bronco, offseason, they were pretty aggressive in signing, I believe, that linebacker from San Francisco that a lot of Raider Nation wanted the Raiders to sign. I'm forgetting his name. Hufunga, a safety that I like. That they got out of the 49ers. Obviously, those guys are like injury prone. They got to stay healthy. But, you add that type of talent and you add a Jeanty Barron to that secondary, to a defense that's already good. Denver, I think, got better. And then obviously the Chargers, you mentioned it as well. Mario Hampton. That's like, I think everybody had him. Mario Hampton, they got him. Everybody
had him balling.
Man, second. Everybody, I think for the most part, had him like the second best running back in his draft class outside of Jeanty, and Harbaugh was able to get him. And it's he's
in the 20s, right? look, everybody. This is what I'm talking about. So I don't mean to cut you off. Everybody was like, man, Jeanty is the best pick in his class. Is the best running back in his class. But but Hampton is right there. Like Jeanty is the best, but Hampton is right there. How come Hampton went 16 picks later? Right? Hampton went 16 picks later. That tells you something.
Yeah, and then also we can't forget about the Chiefs, man. We just mentioned it earlier. I was hoping Josh Simmons, who some will argue might be talent-wise could possibly be the best offensive tackle in the draft. It's just because he had a pretty severe knee injury, might have, obviously hurt his draft status. But the Chiefs were able to steal him at the end of the first. So, man, AFC West, they're making moves too, man. So hopefully the Raiders can continue to add some talent to the roster. Let's take a look, man. Let's see some of these guys here. What was the worst pick? What was the worst pick in the draft?
Nah. The worst pick of the draft?
Like where you were like, for me, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna start it off by saying the Cowboys taking Tyler Booker at 12. I was kind of surprised that he went that early.
That was high.
I know that was like a need for him because Zach Martin, it was retiring, and it's a funny clip too of who's Micah Parson on a Cowboy show reacting to the pick live, and his face was like what? Like what the fuck? But he tried to play it off by like, oh, I love the pick. I just wanted to be a defensive player because I'm a defensive guy. But his first reaction, his face says it all. I thought it was hilarious. Tyler Booker, guard. Everybody, I think we had him all going in like in a second. I don't think anybody had him going in the first. But was there anybody that you were surprised going early? Maybe Mikael Williams. Did you guys have him going?
Yeah, I think the two actually back to back. Coast and Loveland, and it's not that I don't like Coast and Loveland. I think he's a hell of a player. I think he's a hell of a player, and like he's a move tight end. He can do a whole bunch. I think you get him in a creative system. Like ironically, my comparison for him is Sam Laporta. Where did Ben Johnson just come from? What did he have at tight end? Coast, that makes sense. But and they already had they got Cole Kmet, so I think that's going, and having that 12 personnel, I think he'll be able to do some good things with that. I know they really running a running back right there, or they wanted a running back, but guess what? They have an opportunity to get one in the second round. So, they're able to get Travion Henderson, but then Mikael Williams. I do not like Mikael Williams at all. I do not like Mikael Williams at all. When I watch him play, I just see Tyree Wilson. I see Tyree Wilson. It's just PTSD of seeing Tyree, like tall kid, long arms, hell of a can set the edge in the run game. You think like if he could just put it together, if he can get some pass rush moves, this guy will be something. But it just. Never seemed to do it right. So he's like almost like a Trevon Walker. Trevon Walker's kind of starting to figure it out a little bit with Jacksonville.
He is.
He's starting to figure it out. But he was still, should he been drafted over Aiden Hutchinson? Probably not. So
he
I
is
think
like
they
20
regret
years
that
old
pick.
though. He is like 20
He's
years
only
old.
20.
So
He's only 20.
so I get the
he got time.
the potential. There's like a potential here because he got a lot of time to develop. But
People said
Mikael
about Anthony
Williams.
Richardson.
Chris, is there anybody that you were surprised? Like that you were like, I don't know about that
Yeah,
one.
I can't lie, man. I just knew the Steelers were going to get a quarterback. I just knew it.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was whether they were going to kind of go for Dart or that was going to be the home for Shador. For them to get Harmon, I was definitely shocked at that for sure. Because I don't know what their plan at quarterback's going to be. So with them letting both Justin Fields walk and also what's his name, Russ. So so that was a head scratcher for me. That definitely was a head scratcher.
They're all in on Aaron Rodgers, I guess. They're like literally they're at the or
bro.
Yeah, but it's like you don't want to ever let Aaron Rodgers know he has all the leverage. That's the worst thing you can do.
Exactly.
That's the worst thing. This dude ain't gonna be there at camp. He ain't gonna be there at training camp. Man, Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Man.
Right. He's got
nasty
I
work.
have to take care of my mental health. So I'm gonna miss
the
majority of training camp. I might show up for game one, but it's up in the air for me. You know what I mean? Like
you got the TP? You got the I didn't peep that. You got the TP on?
Oh yeah. I rock the TP.
Okay.
Not
So you
the
got the
Marcus
TP.
Russell.
Hey. That's cold.
Everybody be asking.
Oh.
Hold up. This might be I might be reaching here, but
Hey, look, peep this. Still the fastest player to ever wear number 2 for the Raiders. Go remain that. Go remain that.
They gonna remain it.
Well, also, this is another possibility. I'm sure y'all talked about this before, and I know Severe is not a big fan of this, but I want to hear your take on this, Chris. There has been a little bit of talk and rumors about Raiders being they're highly into the quarterback Jalen Milroe.
Bro,
is he a guy that you like at any point in this draft, and at what point? Because it could happen in a second. For some reason, I have like a weird feeling like they're gonna do something crazy like that.
I don't like him at any point ever. Like,
wow.
I don't want him 5 years from now. I don't want him ever. The dude, I do not understand why people fall in love with these combine. Like, you would think that they have learned from Anthony Richardson. You would think they would learn from Milton. Like, the dude cannot throw the football accurately. It's not all that stuff's not going to work in the NFL. Now, if I was him, I'd want to go, like, maybe you can go somewhere and back up Lamar or go back up what's his name, Jalen Hurts or something, and just learn their system and be a guy in their type of system, because they can kind of scheme it up for you and you can learn from them. But that dude would, mark my word, he would never be a starting quarterback in the NFL ever.
Damn.
Ever. Have y'all watched him throw the football? Am I the only one?
Yeah, nah.
I think a lot of people with Jalen Milroe, they're projecting a little bit because he does have like the physical traits that you're looking for outside of his size, but like he's the most mobile QB in the draft. I think he ran like a 4.4, 4.3 at his pro day. Has a strong arm. The way I look at it is, with the quarterbacks that are available in the draft and the Raiders' current state at quarterback, they can take a risk on a Jalen Milroe. Maybe not in the second, maybe not in the third, but it's the only thing is I'm sure that he's probably going to be gone by the third round. But maybe they can take a risk on a quarterback like that because they can allow him to sit. Because you just mentioned, maybe if he goes to sit behind a Lamar Jackson or Jalen Hurts, and maybe he develops. You got a Chip Kelly who you could see a Chip Kelly probably working with a guy like Jalen Milroe. I know, Severe, you mentioned this when Chip Kelly was at UCLA. Who was the quarterback there? Who he actually looked pretty decent.
Yeah,
But DTR. Yeah, DTR, you know, so maybe if you give him a Jalen Milroe, have him develop, sit behind Geno Smith. Yeah. Who knows? But I'm just throwing it out there, you know what I mean? But the Raiders are not like guaranteed to pick him, but that there has been a lot of smoke or rumors suggesting that the Raiders would take a Jalen Milroe as early as the second, maybe the third, or at some point in the draft.
If we take him in the second round, bro,
you gonna have a heart attack. You're gonna have a heart attack,
bro. We take Jalen Milroe in the second round, bro. If we leave day 1 and day 2 with Ass and Jeanty and Jalen effing Milroe, oh my God, bro! You gonna see me? I'm gonna be walking up to Pete Carroll's house with a pillow like this. Bro, I swear, bro. No, cannot do that, man. But like I said, I mean, I don't think he's gonna ever be a good. He'll start. Seneca Wallace started in the NFL, bro. Somebody gonna give Jalen Milroe a chance to start. So,
right,
you know,
right.
Seneca Wallace is better than him.
So.
Damn, he's that bad.
Antoine Randall is a better quarterback than him, bro. The dude is buns, man.
And I know Chris seen it firsthand. I know you're a big Michigan fan, and one of his worst games were against Michigan twice. Yeah. During the season and during
the game of Swirly and threw him in the locker. That's what we did to him, man. 2 times in a row.
Yeah, that bum. He's the one that cost. He the one that, because he couldn't handle his business. He cost Michael Penix. He cost Michael Penix. Michael Penix should have won. He should be a national champion.
But to be fair, though, to be fair, like Alabama wasn't the same Alabama team, and on top of that, like Michigan got a good defense. Y'all made Michael Penix look bad. You know what I mean? And Michael Penix.
That's my point.
Was exactly like what Severe just said. So. But yeah, man, we'll see.
Penix he looked better than Milroe, though. Like, Michael Penix was just getting beat the hell up. He was just
getting beat because but Milroe was just turning the ball over. Like he ain't like Penix just didn't have no help out there. And you know what I'm saying? He ain't have no line. And again, you got Mason Graham.
But Penix had one of the best college O lines. Then they protect him. They protected Penix pretty well. It's just against Michigan. Just Michigan, they dominated.
Kenneth Grant was that game was like, that's the first game I really saw like Kenneth Grant. I was like, this dude is. It's like, who is this dude? He was like destroying.
Yeah, it was nasty.
Real quick, man, let's address these super chats, man. We appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. My guy, Raiders Smoke in the building, man. Appreciate the support. He says, Jeanty, from one Chris to another, man. Like and sub, man. Appreciate it, my guy. And he's not done. He's not done. He says, Severe, have no fear. Jeanty is here. Straight dog.
Severe, you feel better now? Have no fear. Jeanty is here,
dog, bro. He better be a straight dog, man. I'm rooting for the guy, right? I'm rooting for him because we gonna need it.
Space Beast with a super chat, man. Appreciate the support. Severe brought out the red hat. People notice it, man. He brought the red hat, man.
He ain't happy. He ain't happy.
That's the signature red hat right there.
We would have got something that Severe like. We may have saw Hollywood Severe.
Exactly, man.
Hollywood Severe unless we get Will Johnson tomorrow.
I had it ready, man. I had the glass ready. I had the robe. I had the fedora. I was waiting. I was hoping. Put all that back in the closet, dusting off this red hat.
My guy LS with the super chat, man. Appreciate the support, man.
LS.
Oh, man,
he said, I'm conflicted. I hate the value since it's such a strong running back class, but all the guys I really like were gone by 6. I'd love a trade back, but maybe he wasn't there. Next 2 picks. Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. I agree with that. Just because, like, what happens if there's no trade back? Are you gonna go reach for a player that you know in your heart that, you know, in that building they're like, he's not as good as Jeanty, and we know that he's gonna be a reach at this spot. A guy like Spike Tay is like, oh, hell no, that's not going to be my first pick. who's a first-time GM who wants to, obviously just start off, build it off right. We seen Telesco do it with Bowers, and Spytek did it with Jeanty. So, and we talked about the history of the Raiders picking running backs in the first round. So, most likely it's going to be a hit, man. Hopefully it's a hit. It's a hit in the first round. But it is what it is, man. The Raiders made their pick.
If history repeats itself, Jeanty's going to be a pretty good player, and we're going to be trash. If history repeats itself, Jeanty going to be good, and we ain't going to be no good because we ain't going to have the infrastructure in place that's conducive to winning. And that's what.
Even all right. Even if, let's say, okay, even if we didn't take Jeanty, I still think that the Raiders are going to be a competitive football team, like competing for a playoff spot in 2026.
No, in 2026. We're 2 years out. We're at least 2 years out.
Yeah, so it's not going to be either way. No matter what, it wasn't going to be this season. It would have been crazy if it is. Something crazy happened, like they're competitive. Pete Carroll does a hell of a job. That coaching staff does a hell of a job coaching his team, and whatever. Geno Smith has the best year of his career, possibly. But we all can probably agree that like 2026 at the earliest is when this team is ready to compete. So
yeah,
it is what it is, man. Hey, Space Beast in the building, man. Appreciate you. He says, obviously Chip Kelly wanted Jeanty too. Trust is real. Yeah, you know what? That says a lot.
Yeah, the brain trust.
Brain
trust.
Yeah. I know Chip Kelly would have been like, nah, that's not a guy that I want. Because Chip Kelly's going to create an offense where he wants to run that football. That's literally why he was brought in, to implement a system like that. So,
and do
you think Pete Carroll and John Spytek are listening to Chip Kelly? I mean, do you think this pick hinged on whether or not?
For sure.
So do you think if Chip Kelly said, "No, I don't want him," they wouldn't have picked him?
I think they would have took his opinion. They would have took it in. They would have considered his opinion.
They would have taken into consideration.
Right.
And have you ever worked at a corporation and you took something to the bosses like, you know what? I think we should do this. I think we should implement this. And what do they usually say? We'll put it under advisement. We'll take it under advisement. Then they do what the hell they're going to do, regardless.
Sure.
And it's the same situation.
That can happen as well too. At the end of the day, he's not the decision maker. He's not going to have the final say so. But at the end of the day, he is one of the highest paid assistants, if not the highest. Yeah. I think the highest paid assistant in college football.
Yeah.
So, and on top of that, he is the offensive coordinator. What are the Raiders going to do on offense? They're going to run the football. Plus, he knows that Trayvon Henderson. He knows the Judkins. So I'm sure he probably would have meant like, hey, look, we can get these guys. These guys are better if not. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So for the Raiders for the Raiders, look, in my opinion, I think for the Raiders to make that pick, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate. For Raiders to make that pick, they're basically saying that he's hands down the best running back in the class. Like it's not even close. That's why we're gonna pick him at number 6.
I don't think
Okay, then why would you make it a pick? Why would you make him a pick at 6 then?
That's what we're trying to understand.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying.
But that's how they feel, though. That's why they did it. You wouldn't do it because you didn't believe in it. You wouldn't do it if you didn't believe in it, right?
Maybe they believe that was the best value at that pick for what they want to do, but I don't think that means they feel he's the hands down the best pick. Like it was almost like I don't want to compare because it's not the same. But almost like where you feel you have to pick this guy here because the other guy, like a lot of teams thought Hampton and Travion were going round 1. You're right. A lot of people thought, hey, Hampton going sometime in the 20s and then Travion gonna go somewhere in the late 20s. So maybe there was a situation where like, we don't feel we can get Travion, we don't feel we can get Hampton. We want this guy. That's what they felt. How much better they felt he was than those two guys. I can't speak to.
Debatable. Yeah.
I think Ashton Jeanty being picked there means that everybody was comfortable with him being picked there. Doesn't mean everybody wanted that pick, but it means that everybody was like, you know what? If that's the pick, I'm okay with that guy being the pick. So and I feel that that's what they and just because Chip Kelly is the highest paid offensive coordinator in the league, what that means is that we're gonna pick this guy. You better make it work. That's what that tells me. Like we're not paying you. we're not paying you to pick players. We're paying you to fit the guys that we pick into this offense and make it work. And that's what he's going to be tasked to do.
But
So a lot of people saying,
yeah, go ahead, finish your thought. Right?
No, I've seen it. I saw, and my point is that so at the end of the day, that's what it is, right? Will they look at things he's done in the past? Will they look at what he wants to do? Yes. Will they pick players that know what? Hey, what kind of guy fits your system? Does this guy fit your system? Does not fit your system? It's not a situation. Oh, who do you want? We're going to pick this guy. It's what fits your system, what works in your system. And if Ashton Jeanty can work in that system, then they'll pick that guy. But it's not like, okay, who do you want?
Who do you want?
They're picking guys that fit in that system. So. And I hear a lot of people saying that, hey, you know what? The Raiders have a good enough offensive line. They have enough for Ashton Jeanty to be successful. So I'm making a mental note of all you motherfuckers saying that right now. So if he does not do everything that I've been told he was going to do,
don't complain about the line later.
I don't want to hear nothing about the lines, right? I don't hear nothing about the line. I want to improve the line. I feel we need some improvements on the offensive line. I think Chip Kelly, just his scheme, I think that will help tremendously. But I still think on the interior of the offensive line, I still think there needs to be some improvement. Or if we can make an improvement at right tackle, slide Glaze inside to right guard, or maybe if you want to put him at left guard, hey, whatever you want to do. I think that's something we should have done first. I think that would have even helped even more, and pick a running back later that more conducive to success in the running game. But we elected not to do that. So now we have Jeanty. I don't want to hear no excuses about, oh, well, how was he supposed to run? They ain't blocking for him. I don't want to hear none of those excuses, because everybody telling me that he has a good enough offensive line to be successful, and he's a great player, and he's going to do all these things. So I'm hoping that's the case. But I feel before you take a running back, you build the infrastructure around that running back first, and then you pick the guy. That seems to be what's been the ingredient to success to all these other teams in the past.
Man, shout out to LS, man. Hey, you make a valid point, but you kind of spoke to what I was saying when as far as them checking in with Chip Kelly, as far as what they would want, what would he look for to fit in his system? That's pretty much what I was trying to say, because GMs are like, they talk about that all the time. Like even a Mike Mayock would say obviously I would pick the players, but at the end of the day, like I'm going to talk to the coaches to see what type of player they're looking for. And I'm sure they're going to ask a Chip Kelly about a Henderson. They're going to ask a Chip Kelly about it because he was there. He coached them. You could get firsthand, like you could get whatever the coach's view on the player. Yeah. He was there day in, day out. So I'm sure they were able to talk to Chip Kelly about those players. But then obviously they talked. I'm sure Jeanty can't in his top 30 visit stop by, and Chip Kelly was around the corner in the office. You know what I mean, with Pete Carroll, messing around with him and stuff like that. So I'm sure.
Pause on that one.
Definitely pause on that one, man. Definitely pause on that one.
Like Kanye. Kanye Kelly.
Man, hey, you know what? Let's just move it along, man. LS in the building, man. Appreciate the super chat, my guy, man. Appreciate the support. He says, if we take Milroe with our next pick, we basically burnt our first 3 picks of the draft on running back, QB, and QB since we traded for Geno. I'll be sick. Yeah, man. That is true. It's true, man. You got to think about what they're investing their resources on, and we got a lot of needs, man. We got a lot of holes, man. So we got another super chat. Oh man, we got everybody supporting the show, man. Appreciate you coming through.
Appreciate that, man.
Ruben Russ says only old player on our O-line is Colton. The O-line is a young, solid group. Wide receiver would have been a reach. I think everything lined up. Getting the second or third offensive tackle at 6. Look where the first cornerback went. Look at where the first cornerback went. Build around good talent. Period. Okay, so I think he's pro Jeanty.
Pro Jeanty, yeah.
And his main thing is BPA. Raiders went BPA. We need talent. Don't reach for guys who are not worth it at pick number 6 as far as talent. Or
trade back.
No. I agree with the trade. I agree with the trade back. But then
I know. I was just telling you. I was talking to him. It's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's just
question.
like
So
honestly,
question.
the Cleveland Browns they handled it beautifully. Yeah, go ahead.
Right.
Sir.
So question. Who won the Super Bowl this past year?
The Eagles.
What was their first round pick last year?
Their first round pick.
Got a corner, right? They got Mitch.
Corner, right?
Yeah.
The Lions that they went to the playoffs too, right? They got pretty deep in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And they picked a corner last year too, right?
Yep.
First round pick was a corner too, right? Okay. See, it seems these good teams are picking corners. It seems like these good teams address the trenches first. Lions, they addressed the trenches, Penei Sewell. Then they got Aiden Hutchinson. Then they went running back. Then they went corner. But it looks like they addressed those trenches first. Same thing with the Eagles, right? Eagles, they addressed those trenches first. They picked up corners in the draft. What did they do? They got a free agent running back. It seems like you address the trenches. It seems like you don't. You build the team. Either you build the team first, and then you draft a running back, or you build the team and then you grab a running back in free agency.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be the recipe.
Yeah, that's the thing. But the draft's not over. The Raiders could have a great draft. But we'll see what happens. But my guy Raiders Smoke in the building once again, man, with a super chat. He says, if Shedeur on the board, will Brady influence picking him? I know there's some mixed reviews, but let's see how the rest of the draft shapes us up. Jeanty Crocs was a dead giveaway. Laugh out loud. Chip, and Jeanty. I don't know, man. It's Shedeur is one of those. I thought he was gonna be gone. I thought he was gonna go to the Steelers, like Chris mentioned. I thought the Steelers would have been the prime spot for him. Sure. And when they didn't pick him, I'm like, ooh. But maybe the Giants. But the Giants, they traded up and got Jackson Dart.
Jackson Dart, yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking about Jackson Dart earlier too.
The Browns. I think Browns would be a nice spot because if you look at the Browns QB situation with obviously Deshaun Watson out, who do they pick up in the free agency? I don't know.
They got Flacco and they got somebody else. Damn, who they get? They got another bum. I forgot the other bum they got.
Yeah, they did Flacco or somebody else.
It was a dude that I think the Steelers had him. How did the Steelers had for a little bit? No, not Dobbs. Pickett. Yeah, they got Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett.
They need Shedeur. I think Shedeur and Browns make sense.
I think it does too.
Yeah,
I think that makes sense, man.
I think the rest of our picks, we have to do everything to support this first pick and support Geno. I think this pick was a pick to support Geno. Now we have to. I think we have to continue to support Geno and this pick. So we need a deep threat wide receiver to keep these players out the box. We probably need another guard to give them some more running lanes. And that's only going to help him. Both of those picks help him and help Geno as well. So I think from this point on, we have to do everything in our power to make sure that Geno was a success, because technically he's our third round pick, and that Ashton Jeanty is a success in the first round. So I want to go Will Johnson, but and then you start. I mean, will a guy like Will Jaden Higgins be available later? Will Kyle Williams be available late? Do you want to take a chance that Isaiah Bond is a free man? Torrey Horton is a guy, but it might end up being a run on wide receivers. So
right.
So at this point, we have to do everything possible to ensure that Jeanty is like I said, we can maximize his value while we can, because the shelf lives on running backs, and we've seen the track record of top 10 running backs. Most of those, I think the only one for the past, I don't know how many years still on their team is Bijan, and that's because he's still on his rookie deal. So I think we have to do everything in our power to make sure these picks work.
Yep.
Yeah.
And honestly, I wonder how they really feel about Kappa on the line. Like, is there something to that? Like, do they really expect him to be our right guard? I mean, I know a lot of us kind of thought it was going to be a depth piece or whatever, just competition. Maybe they think our line. Maybe they think our line's
man,
okay.
Appreciate the super chat.
You know, like I know us fans. You know, we know better. You know, people that really know ball. But you know, maybe that time that he spent with Brady and with Spytek in the Bucks, they might really think, hey, we brought him in. This line should be good enough for Jeanty. This line should be good enough for Gino. So I don't know. It's hard to say where their mind's at. But honestly, if we're on the board and Will Johnson is still there and we pass on him, I'ma be pissed. That's all I know. That's all I know.
Yeah.
I'ma be pissed.
He's almost too good to pass up, but
man, you can't pass that up, man.
I think the Raiders, if Will Johnson on board, I think the Raiders should make that pick. And I think a guy like Kyle Williams, I think he'll be there in the third. I think he'll be there in the third. You know, a guy, and you mentioned a speedier guy. Some people project him as a slot. He's played outside in college, but like in the NFL, he might be more of a slot. But he got some speed to him. Pretty much, he'll replace Trey Tucker. Because I'm not Trey Tucker. I really don't look at him as a slot. He's not a guy that you could see route up. I don't know, man. I'm done with the Trey Tucker experiment, man.
Yeah, but
we get Jimmy Horn for that. We get Jimmy Horn
well
later.
Documented. Yeah. Hey, I don't know, man. I ain't trusting that. I ain't trusting them in the mocks no more, bro. Jimmy Horn mess around go in the second round. That's what these
Jimmy might be out of there tomorrow, man. hey, for real, Willie Lump. Hey, he might come off the board tomorrow. We don't know, man.
Look,
Willie Lampkin, man.
Willie Lampkin, man.
Yeah, and then in the third round, and in the third round too, you probably want, because you meant another thing too. We all talked about his offensive line. That's probably you probably want to start looking maybe the interior. Maybe you grab a guard in the third. If you're gonna go corner in the second or wide receiver in the second, then try to get a guard. And then after that, you got to think about linebacker, a nose tackle at some point, maybe later in the draft. Maybe you could grab a guy that can stop the run. But I think the main thing is tomorrow is going to be rounds 2 and 3. So what would you see the position? What would be the positional focus? Would you see what you said? We mentioned wide receiver, corner. What's another position that you would focus on? Guard.
Yeah, either guard or tackle. If you want to move Glaze inside, I know we've been talking about that quite a bit, but again, it depends on how they feel about Kappa. But yeah, definitely for sure, receiver though. We got to give Gino another target for sure.
Yeah,
and me, I really want a corner. I really want a corner, man. It's I like JB a lot. Everybody know that, but. Besides that, I don't know what Stokes can really do. He shows flashes here and there, but someone to depend on. Yeah. Exactly. In the division with Mahomes, and I don't know.
Yeah. Ruben Russ with another super chat. He said, "You said Lions picked a DB like they didn't also take Okudah. Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, BPA, they let picks fall to them. Dickerson's second round pick." So I think he's speaking to. He's speaking to.
You're making my point. So they addressed all those positions before they tried to take a running back. So you just make thank you. I appreciate the help. I didn't need it, but thank you for the help, bro. You're saying exactly what I said before. And the Lions didn't take Jalen Carter or Jordan Davis, but I guess you don't know what you don't know what team is drafting who, because the Lions didn't draft either one of those guys.
Are you talking about the Eagles? So
I thought he said the.
Well, now you're talking about the Lions for Okudah, but then the Eagles, Jalen Carter and Davis.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm gonna say Jordan Davis was the best player available.
Not that year.
But I think Severe's point is that those teams, the way they built their rosters was they focused on premium positions at premium picks.
Exactly.
So I think that's the main point. Like a D tackle,
Exactly.
like a Jalen Carter is rare. You know what I mean? And they get paid too. Guys like Jalen Carter gonna get paid when his contract comes up.
Oh my God.
He's gonna be paid.
Yeah.
He's gonna, whatever Christian Wilkins got plus times 2 maybe. I don't know, but you know what I'm saying. I'm just being honest because he's trending upwards as far as like type of player he is. I mean, would you argue he's the best defensive tackle in football? Could you argue that?
No,
I mean, you got the Quinn Williams, you got Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah,
Dexter Lawrence.
He's right there though. He's right there.
Yeah, he's in that conversation. But the fact that you got to bring him up, this is gonna make me mad again. I don't even talk about this.
We got Tyree though. We got Tyree here. Calm down.
I ain't gonna talk about this, bro. It's gonna make me mad about this though. But that's gonna make me mad. But yeah, like the fact that he's even in the conversation, that says it all right there. So that's why you focus on the trenches and you focus on premium positions that, especially positions that you like, where the best players in the league, their contracts are going to be extremely high. That's corner, wide receiver. Well, corner is getting there, but corner, wide receiver, the trenches. You know, pass rushers, interior defensive linemen, tackles on the offensive line. Like those guys make money. Who doesn't make a lot of money? You know, running backs.
So these are the top receivers available. Obviously, we're looking at corner just because of Will Johnson being available. But if he's not available, maybe you pivot. Let's look at offensive guard real quick and see who's available right now. So ESPN has Jonas Salvina.
Yeah, Jonas Salvina. I like Jonas Salvina.
Tackle. Some people project him to be a guard though. He played tackle, right? In Arizona? He play tackle?
He played tackle Arizona, but he's projected to be a guard.
I think this is a guy, you know,
that's how a lot of tackles are in this class, though.
When we do our mocks, we have Tate in the third.
Tate Ratledge. Yeah, but you never know though. But Will Johnson goes in the first in our mocks too, so you never know.
Yeah, like we said this before though. The draft is unpredictable, so it's always going to be a surprise. Someone's going to drop. Someone's like Shedeur dropping all the way to the second. Will Johnson dropping all the way to the second. That's a big slide and surprise to a lot of people.
Yeah.
What's another linebacker? Let's look at linebacker here, real quick. Linebacker. Carson Wentz. Would you consider him in a second if Will Johnson's gone?
No,
I ain't gonna lie. I would take.
So you would?
I would take a receiver. I would take, because it's the same situation. Like, do I like Carson Schwarzenegger as a player? Yes. Do I think he's going to be a good player? Yes. But it's the same situation with running backs where most linebackers don't make a whole bunch of money like that. You know, outside of Roquan, I think was one other guy that's making a lot of money. But most of those guys don't make a whole lot of money like that. So you can get some really good players on some pretty good deals. So like it's like I'd focus. Like that's linebacker is not a premium position.
Are you guys looking at quarterback at all?
Quarterback?
Quarterback.
Quarterback.
No. Oh my God, bro. It would be. I don't want to go say what I was going to say, but they will cut the stream if I say what I was going to say, man. But it will be Raider fans everywhere. They'd be ecstatic. It's just put it that way. They would be ecstatic. We got Shedeur and Jeanty. Oh my God, they would be, bro. Yeah, it'd be a party. It'd be a party in Vegas.
So we got Tyler Shuck. Let's see, Will Howard. So some of these guys probably in the later rounds, like Will Howard, maybe in the 4th or 5th.
I could see Chip might possibly push for Will if he really believes in him.
Like in the 4th or 5th.
Look, bro. If we draft Will Howard, I'm gonna be.
Yeah, I don't want him. Yeah.
Look, you want to know what you want to know what Chip thinks of Will Howard? You want to know what Chip thinks of Will Howard? On a team with a wide receiver that won in the first round this year, a wide receiver that quite possibly could be the greatest wide receiver to ever step foot in Ohio State history, in Smith. And he was going up against a team that's missing Will Johnson, an NFL player, and has two top 15 defensive tackles on their defensive line. And he still chose to run the ball instead of throwing it. That's what he thinks of Will Howard.
That's a fact. That's a fact. You ain't lying.
My guy Ruben Russ with another super chat. My guy supporting the show, man. Appreciate the support. He says O-line is a premium position, but the only first-round O-line Eagles drafted that played for them last year is Lane Johnson. 14 other teams passed on taking cornerback. That's not Travis Hunter. I wish a better blue chip player fell, but none fell to 6. Great content, man. Hey, man, appreciate it, man. Appreciate the support. And yeah, I mean, a lot of teams did pass on corner. Like Jeanty kind of he slid. A lot of people had him going early, like probably top 15.
Yeah.
And he dropped all the way down to the Broncos, probably like what, 25, like somewhere in the 20s.
Yeah.
So he kind of dropped a little bit.
Yeah, but the Eagles are a unique situation because they have the best offensive line coach in the league in Stoutland, who Chip Kelly hired. And so like possibly the greatest offensive line coach of all time. Like that's how good he is. So that's a unique situation. But all these other teams that were in the playoffs, all those guys have multiple first round picks on their offensive line, and that's like all these corners dropped because of all these offensive linemen and defensive linemen were being taken.
So what you're saying is Pete Carroll's son's on the clock right now, O-line coach, because
everybody on the clock right now.
He's on the clock.
Yeah. I don't think Chip Kelly like took in everybody's resume and just randomly picked Pete Carroll's son to coach the offensive line. I don't think that was like he was the most like he just happened to be the most qualified guy out there.
Well, we'll see, man. But it feels like it's more of like he was trying to hook up his son, give him an opportunity. But it'd be funny though. Let's say this is a crazy scenario. Let's say Chip Kelly becomes the next Raiders head coach, right?
Oh my!
And
God.
his first order of business is firing.
Bro, you already know. What's going down, bro. Both of them kicking rocks, guaranteed. Nate and the other one, I forgot the other dude's name. They both kicking rocks.
But yeah, as far as the quarterbacks, Shador could be a possibility, but I don't know. At this point, I'm like, I'd rather just address another position in a second. Which
we gotta support Ashton and we gotta support Gino. Like we gotta support. And despite everybody telling me that he has enough offensive line help to be fine, I don't agree. So I want this pick to be a success. So I think we need to ensure that it's a success.
Yeah, at least give him a receiver. Get him another target. Give him another target. Someone that can stretch the field.
But if Will Johnson's there, though, that might change.
Oh yeah, if Will's there, that's
right.
Gotta get him.
I know we drafted Jeanty in the first. We're not. This is more of like probably a Saturday question. All right, would you grab another running back somewhere in the 5th, 6th round pick? Because I know me and Severe, Chris, just to give context, we've been saying double up at running back. That's how bad our running back room is. Let's double up. This is a good class. But we got Jeanty at number 6. And he's more of a bell cow, but you got a Chip Kelly who is used to having like, a running back by committee, the 1-2 combo, the thunder and lightning. Do we get a lightning? Because Jeanty's more of a, would you say more power? He's kind of a combination, but more of a physical power back. Would you get like a faster running back?
Maybe, but the thing is, like usually when at least when I'm thinking about doubling up, I'm still thinking about doubling up in the later rounds. So like I'm not getting my running back to like the 2nd or 3rd, but it's like if I get my guy in the 1st round, I'm expecting him to be the bell cow. So like you definitely want your thunder and lightning, but nah, you gonna have to be a straight hurricane until, because I got so many other things I gotta address. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Like maybe if we got some more draft capital, maybe I'll look at some guys, but like right now, man, I'm still looking at, some more weapons, that can be out there with Jeanty. So whether it's a lineman or, receiver or something like that. But
right. Which
somewhere.
That's why I said this is more of a Saturday question, meaning that like in the later rounds, which would like at the earliest 5th, but we have 3 6th-round picks. One of those picks,
something like
would
that.
Jadon Blue, is he going to be available? Probably not. Probably can be gone by the 4th round. But you never know. He might drop. Woody Marks is a guy that we've been seeing in the mocks to be a later round guy that's been available. He would be a 3rd down back. I don't know. Bashard Smith.
I take LaQuint Allen before I
Quinn
take
Allen.
Woody Marks. I take LaQuint Allen before I take Woody Marks. And he should be a late round guy. I mean, but like Chris, usually we think about doubling up because you know what, we address the other needs first. So now, now in a deep running back class, hey, I done took care
I
of.
can still get
somebody.
somebody.
I done paid my rent. I done paid my car note. I done paid my light bill. I can go to the strip club and throw some ones, and I'm good. Those is paid. But now, you done threw your rent money in the club. Now you out here hustling.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just throwing it out there just because the Raiders had their worst running back room, arguably, in the NFL last year. Outside of, you can make an argument that the guys that are currently on the running back room, they're probably not going to make the roster. Guys like Zamir White, is he, you know what I mean? Is he going to make the team? Dylan Lobby, is he going to make the team? They picked up Mostert in free agency. He might stick. That's a guy they picked up, but he can also not make the team. We all seen veterans get signed in free agency on cheap contracts and not make the team. My point is like
Devin White.
I ain't gonna lie. I keep forgetting.
Guys, my allergy is acting up.
I keep forgetting we got Mostert. I ain't gonna lie. I do have to get reminded about that.
Yeah. Which I ain't gonna lie. When healthy, Mostert is a nice little, rotational back, man. He got some speed to him, especially if you combine that with what Chip Kelly's running on offense. So,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. He could be that lightning, if he can stay healthy. But
that's the thing, health.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's why now it's almost like since we got Jeanty so early, I can't sit here and say I'm a double up now. I can't. I can't say it, convincingly, man. So I don't know, man.
Yeah,
we might need to double up on receiver.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
it's Alex Blackman out there.
A slot and an outside receiver.
Have Alex Blackman back there. Nah, he pisses me off every time I see that dude, man.
No, definitely the Raiders. I feel like they need an outside receiver, a slot guy, preferably if they can get a speedier guy, whoever that is. Just get a speedier option because we got a lot of guys that can win in the short to intermediate parts of the football field, but we need some guys that can win deep, and I think it will complement the weapons that we already have. But we'll see if that's going to even be available. I mean, we could possibly do it in the 2nd round, maybe the 3rd, but I feel like just gauging the conversation that we're having right now, I think the 2 top positions that we're looking at is the interior offensive line and wide receiver. Or no, I'm sorry, interior offensive line and corner.
Yeah, and receiver.
We need bro. Look, that's my point, bro. This making me, bro. Our linebackers right now are Landon Roberts, Mauga, Tommy Eichenberg. Those are he might have to start. Oh my goodness, bro.
Do y'all? Hey, you know what?
What have we done?
Shout out to LS, man. He brought this up, but I seen this too. I think Tony Pauline put it out there. He's saying that Christian Wilkins hasn't recovered from he's running into some complications with his with his injury, and he might need to do another procedure. So, do the Raiders prioritize defensive tackle? But then some people put out pictures of Christian Wilkins.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that stuff could be fake, man, just so they can put the smoke screen up. Like
he was dancing,
yeah,
like he was doing
the Raiders
backflips.
might be Mason Graham now. Like
Yeah, he was doing some of that Oakland stuff.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how true the report. Maybe it might have been a lot of Pauline just making something out of nothing. But yeah, if let's say if it's true, let's just say if it's true, do the Raiders does that become like a big priority defensive tackle tomorrow?
I mean,
It can, yeah.
Tomorrow though, no, I don't know tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow might be, but
you still got Adam Butler who played well. You got Jordan. We got
You only saying that
Jordan,
because Tylee got drafted in the first. That's why.
I mean, they're still because is Walter Nolan still out there? Nobody got Walter Nolan, right?
Yeah, he got drafted. Walter Nolan went to the.
He got
picked
picked early. Yeah, I thought that was a reach. I thought that was a reach too. He got picked early.
I didn't see him get picked. Okay, yeah. Boy from where'd he go? I missed that.
We'll go to it right now.
Oh, to the Cardinals. The Cardinals. Okay, I missed that.
Yeah,
pick.
he went to the Cardinals.
I missed that. Pick. Okay. Boy still available from the other guy, the other DT from the Ducks, Oregon Ducks. Campbell, he's still out there. I'm trying to think who else was another guy. Trying to think some other DTs I liked that were
Cam Jackson.
big.
Cam Jackson.
Cam Jackson. Yeah, Cam Jackson's still out there.
But Cam Jackson, but
he'll
these are mock drafts,
later.
but he'll be there later. But you never know, man.
He should be. Yeah, you never know. Exactly. Yeah, you never know.
Like, but,
so it's like,
don't ask me to do no mock drafts next year, bro.
Nah, bro.
Hey, bro, all I know is there was one mock draft.
I think we need to go back and look at these mock drafts and see how much.
At 96.
He got Kenneth Grant at 96. I think I won. I think we look at my mocks. I think I'm the clear winner.
So none of your mocks, none of your mocks had Shedeur in the second. Drop him in the second. I think me and Severe we had a mock draft where Shedeur was in the second.
Did y'all? We have one in the second.
But yeah, it was just. I think it was like one time though. Once or twice.
Every one of our mocks, except for one, I think every one of them had Kenneth Grant drop into the second. I think only one time he went in the first.
Yeah.
But usually he was there in the second.
Did he?
Or third or fourth for you, bro.
That's why I'm the champ, bro. My IT people on point, man. Look, look, don't get mad. Our people working overtime.
Man.
Get them dudes, get them dudes some Adderall. They be working all night.
Oh, he said he's accurate. But you know what? Like people, there are some people that came out, not just Raider fans coming out and saying that it's not true with the pictures. I think take it. You can take this for whatever it's worth. I think one of the beat writers came out and said there's no reports that would say that this is substantial. There's nothing that would say that this is true. But this came from Vinny, so maybe Vinny got word from the team to be like, don't put that out there.
Clean it up.
Yeah, so I don't know.
But usually they'll get it because there was those initial reports about what's my man's name? God dang it, Malcolm Coombs, and like the teams they confirmed it. It was like they confirmed it pretty quickly, like the next day. So like if there were some complications with like you look at what happened with Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson got hurt, I want to say after Christian Wilkins got hurt, right? And they found out, hey, you know what? Things aren't going well with the rehab for his Achilles. They found that out like months ago. So if there was something going on where Christian Wilkins' foot wasn't healing right, or some complications, I think they should have already discovered it.
Shout out to Up in Smoke 806. He said, appreciate the super chat, my guy, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate you supporting the show. He says we gonna have to play Omarion Hampton in L.A. and PS2 and Jahdae Barron. Okay, Patrick Surtain and Jahdae Barron is Denver. Yeah, we talked about that earlier, man. Like the AFC West teams, they did pretty good job of addressing some of their needs. Because like a guy like Josh Simmons, if he was healthy, would he be available for the Chiefs to grab at pick number 32? Probably not, and they were able to get him. And we all know, like, that's probably one of the biggest weaknesses is on the Chiefs team is probably tackle on an offensive line. So we'll see if they can capitalize, because I know he's coming back from like a serious injury. Omarion Hampton in LA is probably going to be something that we're going to have to that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough.
No, yeah, I'm more worried about Jahdae Barron, because think about this.
Slot corner.
You got Jahdae, not even slot corner, right? Because he played slot outside and he played safety. But you think about how they played defense last year is that they put PS2 on Brock because we didn't have nobody else.
They did.
So now you can just put PS2 on Brock. Basically, and that's how he got 2 interceptions off of Brock. 2. He got the pick 6, and then he got the other one.
Yeah, in the end zone.
Late in the game, off Aiden. So he got 2 picks off Brock Bowers. So they just gonna put PS2 on Brock. Well, it wasn't his fault. It wasn't not Brock Bowers' fault, but he got 2 picks while defending Brock Bowers. So because they knew that's where we was gonna go with the ball. So they just gonna put PS2 on Brock. And
do they do that with Geno though? Do they do that with Geno? I mean, because you got to think.
No, last year they didn't have Jahdae. So now they'll probably just put Jahdae on Jacoby. And if we don't got another legit weapon,
yeah.
Plus that pass rush.
I forgot they did that.
But another thing too is some of these guys. Do you think they're going to be ready to contribute day one? These wide receivers that you're talking about that we can grab in the second and maybe the third, like, can they contribute day one? That's
my point. I know who can contribute day one. I know who would contribute day one for damn sure. Who's going to contribute day one?
Man,
Milroe will contribute day one. So, I think Luther can contribute day one. I think Luther can. I mean, there's a few guys I think can contribute day one. I think there's a few guys that can contribute day one. So I it's. And there's still some value there, but if you don't get a guy in the second and you got to wait to the third, then it starts to get a little bit sketchy.
Look, for me, if they can add a corner and then improve that offensive line, and then maybe add you can add a receiver later. Probably he's year one might be a rotational receiver. I would say probably sign a vet, whoever's out there. Tyler Lockett got signed too, by the way. He got signed right before the draft this week.
Oh, he did? Who get signed by?
He went to. Did he go to the Cardinals? Not the Cardinals. He went to. Where did Tyler Lockett? He went. I'll look that up real quick. But he signed earlier this week, so that was a guy that that was connected to the Raiders just because the Pete Carroll connection. Veteran guy. But yeah. Titans. Yeah. That's a random pickup, but it is what it is.
Yeah, they were desperate.
Frank, hey man, appreciate the super chat. Up in smoke, but Frank Weber says expect some trades tomorrow. Yeah, like trade ups, maybe to grab. Do you think the Raiders could possibly trade up for a guy like Will Johnson?
They could, but go ahead, Chris. Let you take it.
Yeah. They really could, to be quite honest. And to be honest, the Browns might listen. The Browns might. I mean, they already killing the game anyway. They literally might listen, bro, and then pick up another.
Bro, nah, we can't do that. We can't have the Browns out here.
I know, just fleece.
Browns mess around and be better than this next year, but nah, I can't have that.
Man, yeah. But the thing is, getting Will Johnson in the second, to me, would make this a slam dunk. Like if you would tell me that in the first 2 rounds of the draft, I can have Jeanty and Will Johnson, I'm good. I'm set.
I'd be happy.
I'm set.
There's only Will Johnson. Will Johnson would be great. Luther Burden would be great. There's only one player that could save this draft for me.
But I'm not gonna lie though.
You already know who it is. There's only one player that can say this draft class for me.
Willie Lampkin.
You bring him on home, man. There's only one player that can say this draft class.
And I'm not gonna lie, if the Raiders trade up, I would want them to give up no more than a 6th-round pick. That's it.
They trade up on me.
It's gonna take more than that.
Maybe
in the
next
way they
year
just
pick.
fleece the Jags, they're gonna expect more.
Yeah.
Maybe like a 5th and a 6th, like, and the 5th is gonna be next year's 5th. You know, that type of deal. I wouldn't want to give any picks in the draft outside of a 6th-round pick, because I'm not gonna lie, we need the 5th-round pick, we need the 4th-round pick, we need all the picks as much as possible. Man, but salute to everybody pulling up, man. It's been a great show. Jake Long says lots of receivers. Hope the Raiders take Jalen Royals or Kyle Williams tomorrow. Hey, man, I wouldn't be mad at that tomorrow. Then Ricky White in the 5th. All right, okay.
I like Jalen Royals. We need some speed. Jalen Royals is a hell of a route runner. You might be the best route runner in this class. Outside of Matthew Golden. Outside of Matthew Golden, it might be Jalen Royals, but we need more speed.
I think this is probably when we ask what would be the positions that we would want to look into tomorrow. I would say cornerback, edge, linebacker, wide receiver, and O-line. Ain't mad at that either, for sure.
Everything. We need everything.
We can't even go edge right now, though.
The whole team.
We gotta wait. We gotta wait for edge now. We gotta wait for edge.
Oh yeah, edge. Yeah, edge is that's a luxury at this point.
Yeah. But that's just like you don't want Tyree playing. That's like you want Tyree playing as little as possible. So it's gotta get the edge.
Yeah. My guy Navy Vet 47, man, he just comes through and drops a super chat. My God, man, hey, he has nothing to say, man. He just wanted to support the show.
Navy Vet. Won a trip to the draft, man, and gifted it to one of our dogs. Right, Chris.
Yes, sir. But yeah, man, hey, it's been a great show.
That was Nav, man. It's Nav, man. I think Nav, man. It's Navy Vet and Nav, man.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It's Nav, man. I think it was Nav, man.
Yeah, it was his other name. Yeah.
Nav, man. Yeah.
Salute the Navy Vet. That's my guy. Shout
out to Navy Vet.
Yes.
Shout out to all the veterans out there.
Yeah, salute. Chill Races got to sign Amari. Hey, I'm not mad at that, man. I'll sign a Amari Cooper on the cheap though, but nothing more than like, because I think the other day when we did a show, we looked at Spot Track to see his value. And yeah, he's out there. It was crazy high, but you know, Spot Track might not be accurate at this point since he's still available. We might be able to get him for like a cheap deal, which I wouldn't be mad at. We need the help.
As long as he's motivated, man. There's something about Amari just
rubs you off.
It does. I mean, for one, it's like that picture after we drafted him, like that. And then I'd never forget, and I always go back to it in my mind, I never forget how Adam Pac-Man Jones just slammed his head with his own helmet. And I'm just like, and Amari was just taking it. I'm like, do something. Fight back. Like, he had that same face. I'm like, get up, man.
But you know what? You know what's funny? It's not, well, I don't know if it's funny, but that's always been a weakness of his. Like, he would be dominated by physical players.
He ain't got no dog in him.
He's a robot, bro. He's just a robot.
I mean, he got crazy feet. Now his feet and route running is nice.
He's a cyborg, man. Damn. Like that's like fighting back is not programming. Like he's
Chris, you're hella funny. Chris, you're hella funny. That was the first game of the season, or was that the home opener?
Game.
It was the first game.
It was the opener, and I'm like, get up. I'm like, he took your head out of the helmet, and it was like. I was done, bro. I'm like this. I already didn't like his picture when we drafted him. He had that little like he just rubbed me the wrong way. Pause the whole time.
Like he did just like this. And like hugged his mom. And I was like, oh, this dude, like he looking sad. Like, bro.
Yeah. And then that picture, like he was holding his hat, like. I'm like, man, here we go.
For me though, it was when he went to Dallas and he was just like a whole different, like he was jumping and high-fiving everybody. I was like, oh damn, I thought you was a Tim Duncan, but in reality, you were just not happy. So, you know, but I wouldn't mind if he wants to come back and he can contribute. and it's on the cheap, I wouldn't mind it at all. It's not for me. Amari's not like Devontae level of like, you know, how he left the Raiders. Like Devontae left, he burned all bridges. Like the way he left, bro, he lied all the way down until the very end. He's still lying. I don't know if you seen a recent interview or article or whatever he had the other day with like the Rams media, and he was just like, oh man, I can't believe that they traded away, you know, my guy Derek Carr first year. Then why were you still on the team? Why don't you just leave after the first year? Like, if you, like, why complaining about it and still be there? I don't know, man.
You should have traded him earlier, man. I'm cool with Amari. I'll give him the other half of the bag of policies that we gave to Devin White. Make it a whole bag of policies. That's all you getting out of me, bro. You ain't getting you getting a half a bag of policies and the Mucho Mango Arizona, bro. That's all you getting out of me, brother.
Man, shout out to 401 Raider Jeff, man. He says, oh, not that right there. My bad. Appreciate the super chat. He says, best part of the draft night, Sanders falling to the second round. Would you, hey man, why you hating on Shedeur, man? What's going on, man?
I like Shedeur.
You're not a Shedeur Sanders fan? You don't like him?
Not like
man. I wonder where Shedeur is gonna go. That's gonna be where is he gonna go? I think we mentioned the Browns. I think the Browns would be perfect. I think that system too. That Stefanski system, I feel like he would fit that.
Yeah, but just the outdoors.
See, the only thing
yes. Yeah.
Stefanski, he likes his quarterbacks to be able to be under center.
Yeah. Oh, that
you know what I'm saying? Because he really likes doing play action. I don't think Shedeur's ever really been under center ever.
Yeah. And then there's the arm strength issue. That's why New Orleans would have been perfect. New Orleans would have been perfect.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not mad at New Orleans though by getting Banks. They're cool on the tackles for the next 10 years.
Yep. They got Fuaga and Banks back to back stage. That's how you do it.
That's how you do it. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe the Saints get Shedeur in a second, since he's there.
Possibly. I don't know where they're picking this second. I don't know where they're picking this second.
You know, they I know they got a second round pick. They might trade up. You know, it's possible, or maybe
they might trade up for him.
Yeah.
So is that true about Derek Carr though? Is it a wrap for him? Kind of. I keep hearing stuff about him. I really don't be looking into it, but it's like he had like a.
It seemed like it, bro. It seemed like it. It's you know, a lot of it is like Derek Carr doesn't want to play for him no more. You know what I mean? He's doing it in a very like in a passive aggressive way, where he's kind of like acting like he wanted to be there, but then he's coming out and just like, oh, I'm hurt. You know what I mean? Right before the draft, and then it's just and what's crazy is just watch how the fan base. Completely different fan base. Did not know Derek Carr until he got there. How they're like reacting to him is kind of how the Raiders are. You know, a lot of Raider fans kind of react.
They was talking stuff. Oh, when they signed him, they was talking about, oh man, y'all didn't know how to, y'all let him go. Y'all didn't know how to use him. It was obnoxious about it, and we was like, all right, go ahead. We'll see what that gets you.
Right.
It didn't. But you know, Saints fans are smart because it didn't take long. It didn't take 9 years for them to realize, you know what, this dude ain't no good. Like they've seen good quarterback play. Like they've actually seen guys play good quarterback. So they was like, oh no, this dude ain't no good. They took them like 6 weeks. Like, this dude's trash. Like, get him up out of here, like quick. So, and the media then completely turned on him. Like completely turned on him. Like it's like he's almost can't step foot back out in there because it's a whole shoulder thing, and then the fact that it's cropping up now, like right before the draft, and then there was a situation where he said publicly that he's okay with restructuring his contract. Then he was like behind the scenes, he was mad that they restructured his contract, or that they they came to him and asked him to do it. It's just a whole bunch of like high school drama, gossip girl stuff.
Too much, man. Yeah.
I don't think they want to deal with it, man. So, they don't go quarterback. They might just tank this year and try to get a high pick next year.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, man. Saints got their own problems. Raiders got to deal with their own issues and filling out this roster, and hopefully they'll be able to do that within the next couple of days. That being said, we appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in. At this point, clock out. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. Before we get out of here, predictions. What do you see happening in the second and third round? Who are the players that you predict that the Raiders are going to pick? I know it could go a lot of different ways because you don't know who's going to be there, but let's just throw out some predictions. Let's start with you, Chris.
So if I had to predict, and if we stay put at 37, I could see us. I think we're gonna stay on offense. I could see us getting a Luther Burden, or maybe looking at Higgins. I know Higgins is one of my personal favorites, but I actually didn't expect Burden to still be there. So, so I think Burden at 37 that might be the move, because then at this point you're looking at it like, okay, these first 2 rounds are going to help Geno. They are going to help Geno. So, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Severe, who you got?
Man, know what? I'm thinking, man, if we mess around and we can get Will Johnson, and then we can come back in the third and still get a guy like maybe a Kyle Williams in the third. That would be ideal. That would be ideal.
Yeah, man.
The thing is, are you okay with trading up to get him though? I think we'd have to trade
or Will Johnson.
Yeah, I think we have to trade up to get him. Honest,
I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
I wouldn't want to do that. Yeah, see, I wouldn't want to do that. Yeah, because the fact that they didn't go offensive line already, I think they're going to wait. I see. Fourth round, Chris, Charles Grant incoming. Charles Grant incoming. Fourth and fifth round. Why?
Anything, man.
Charles Grant.
I'm gonna get y'all mad right now. So I'm gonna go tomorrow. I'm gonna say, like, you know what? They're gonna go BPA. They're gonna get a Will Johnson or maybe a wide receiver. But in the third, I think they grab a quarterback. I think they grab Jalen Milroe. I think it might happen,
bro.
I'm just saying. Look, all the mocks, everybody was right about Jeanty. Everybody was right. I was like, nah, there's no way the Raiders are gonna pick Jeanty. That's too early. There's the value. There's so many running backs, and they went ahead and grabbed Jeanty. So it's telling me, like, these reports, they've been spot on as far as where the Raiders' interest lies. And if it ain't Jalen, it's gonna be somebody. But I'm just throwing it out there. This is just just to throw a little devil's advocate type of scenario. You'd go crazy. I know you go crazy.
Man, if we pick Milroe, bro,
there's no one that dislikes Milroe more than me. There's nobody.
A live look of Chris at the house.
Hell no. I'll make my own version of that. Yeah, man. Bro.
Yeah, it's gonna be a whole lot more uncensored.
Man,
it's gonna.
LS says Jaden Higgins and Trey Amos. Okay, all right. That's not bad. That's not bad.
I wouldn't hate that. I'm not as high on Trey Amos, but I don't dislike him. But I'm not as high as on him. On him as a corner as I am on some other guys. But I wouldn't hate that.
And I think someone else says defense probably next, quarterback maybe linebacker. Shador goes to the Browns. We take Higgins or Bonds. Okay.
We take Isaiah Bond, bro. We take Isaiah Bond anywhere higher than the fifth round. I'm gonna be hot.
Cause what is he like Trey Tucker to you? Smallest receiver?
No, not even that. The dude
he's like R. Kelly.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, this dude is This dude gonna have to register as a sex offender, bro. He ain't gonna be. Bro, no.
Isaiah Bond, man. I ain't putting that on that.
as a player, some people feel there are people.
like him.
Yeah. There are people that feel he was better than Matthew Golden at one point, or going into the year he was gonna be better than Matthew Golden, and then Matthew Golden just took over. So at one point he was considered that guy, and like he was that dude in Alabama. And I don't know why he left Bama.
But he was that guy like in the early portions of the Texas season until like I think he got hurt right at some point, and then like Golden just took over and never looked back. Torque says I think we trade our 2 to Pittsburgh for George Pickens. Now I heard there's rumors saying that George Pickens is available.
I'll be mad.
I don't want to do business with Pittsburgh when it comes to receivers. Like let's hang up the phone. If Pittsburgh says we're calling, we got a receiver for you, just hang up the phone because you know it's gonna be something crazy coming your way.
Yeah, it's gonna be and like Jeanty mentioned it. A lot of the beat writers mentioned it. I think other NFL media mentioned it as well. Is that the Raiders just like super high on like character right now. So like character, all about character, culture. So they're not gonna add a guy like Pickens.
Myra says prediction: Chris will be drunk as F tomorrow night. That's the prediction for she. That's what she got for you.
Oh man, I gotta check on my guy 805.
If we get Milroe though, if we get Milroe,
805, man.
805.
I'm gonna have to drive. I'm gonna have to drive to Vegas and bail 805 out, man.
He's pissed. But yeah, man, we appreciate everybody coming through. Chris, man, let the people know where they can find you, what to look forward to, all that good stuff.
Yeah, man. Protect the Shield podcast on all the platforms, man. So I appreciate being on here with my brothers, man. Absolutely love it. You know, I've always partnered with my boy Severe. You know, I've been on this show a few times with my boy Pharaoh, man. It's always a fire show. So everybody that's not familiar with me, man, just make sure you guys come and subscribe to my channel. Usually try to go about 3 or 4 times a week, and I'm starting to add a couple more shows on there, man. So definitely try to keep bringing the heat. You know, if you guys haven't seen it before, you know, I try to get, interviews with ex-players, ex-coaches, and things like that. And just try to put my own little spin on it, man, and just give you guys, authentic, Raider content, man. So check me out.
There you go, Severe, man. Let the people know where they can find you, what to look forward to.
Yeah, man, y'all know what it is. The Severe Raider here on YouTube, IG, Snapchat, TikTok, X, all that good stuff. You can find me in St. Louis rolling up. No mess. Man, you can find me tonight, man, watching some film, just trying to convince myself to fall in love with this pick, man. Just that's what I'm gonna be doing all night tonight, man. So, but yeah, man, I got the 50-50 show with my guy PharoahNFL, the world famous 50-50 show, and of course Around the Shield. And I'm going live with my brothers 805 and Chris Protect the Shield Tuesdays and Sundays as well, man. Fire show. If y'all haven't seen our show, the TRS show we did on Monday, that is, I've been people that's not even Raider fans been hitting me up like, man, that show was hilarious. So man, if y'all ain't seen that, man, y'all gotta make sure you check that out.
Yes, sir, man. Hey, so yeah, we'll be back here soon, man. Just make sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. We're going live on all our channels, as well as stay tuned, man. Hit the notification bell when we go live, especially because I don't know what y'all about to be going live after day 2, or are you gonna wait till next week, or how you guys gonna approach the draft?
I don't know. It depends, man. Yeah,
if they kill it tomorrow, I'm telling you, if they kill it tomorrow,
because if I'm live and they draft Milroe, I'm gonna start losing.
Yeah, exactly, bro.
I'm gonna lose monetization.
If they draft Will Howard or Milroe, bro, I'm just gonna fly to Cuba, bro. Yeah, I'm just gonna fly straight to Cuba, bro. Yeah, I ain't gonna see me no more.
Man. But hey, yeah, we'll see y'all soon, man. Appreciate you coming through. Peace.
Just win, baby. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.